Hello and welcome to the City of Cedar Falls Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for Wednesday, December 4th, 2024. I call this meeting to order. Could I get a roll call, please?
Alberhaski.
Here.
Gribovich.
Here.
Hartley.
Here.
Henderson. Johnson.
Here.
Moser.
Here.
Sorensen. Stallnaker.
Here.
Watkins.
Here.
Ms. Henderson was going to join online, but I believe the
Correct.
internet's
We have
down
no
right
internet
now.
right now, so,
Yeah.
yeah. But we do have a quorum, so we will proceed. Looking for approval or looking for a motion or discussion on minutes from last meeting?
I move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, motion carries. This would be the time of the meeting for any public comment. I don't see any public comment for anything not on the agenda. So we will move on to, we have two agenda items in old business. They both pertain to the same spot. One is for rezoning and one is for the site plan. It's a rezoning of 13.28 acres located at the southeast corner of Green Hill Road and Cedar Heights Drive, and changing from an R2 to an MU, and then the secondary item would be the site plan. And I think we're going to hear those both together before we discuss anything.
Right, and one correction on the agenda. This is actually new business, and our agenda was incorrect, so it's new. We haven't heard these before.
Okay, all right. Thank you. And Chris has this.
Yes, thank you, Commissioners, and Chair Hartley. The applicant is an experienced development firm out of Minnesota, and they're seeking to rezone the property at 4616 Cedar Heights Drive, which is at the southeast corner of Green Hill Road and Cedar Heights Drive. The request is to rezone from R2 to MU, R2 Residence District to MU Mixed Use Residence District, with the intention of building a 195-unit residential development on the site. Currently, there is a church on the site. It's a Community of Christ church. Up on the screen is the rezone plat. There are three main criteria for evaluating the appropriateness of a rezone. The first is if the requested zone is consistent with the comprehensive plan. In this case, the area in and around this parcel is slated on the future land use map for neighborhood, commercial, and mixed use. The mixed use district is likely the most ideal designation for that planned intent. The second criterion is if city services and utilities are available to the property, and they definitely are. From I think two different places they were able to get utilities from. The third criterion is if the property has roadway access. The property borders and has access to Cedar Heights Drive and Green Hill Road. Access to Green Hill Road is via Sager Avenue, which is being brought to the edge of this site by the Hidden Pines subdivision, which is pending a final plat. But the road itself, I understand, is built at this point. The MU district requires review and approval of a master plan to be associated with the rezone. In this case, the applicant has actually put together a detailed site plan, which in essence will act as the master plan. And that's another thing we'll discuss here as a separate agenda item, but I'm grouping it in here. So the applicant is proposing 5 39-unit apartment buildings with plenty of parking in and out of garages and a clubhouse with a fitness center and offices. Also included in the proposal are some outdoor amenities for the residents, such as a playground, swimming pool, pickleball courts, and a dog run. On the screen is the proposed landscape plan. The site is partially in the HCG, or Highway Corridor Greenbelt overlay, which is buffered around Green Hill Road. It's in green up on the screen. This comes with extra requirements for open green space and landscaping, which are met by the proposal. The trees on the east, which is on the top of the image on the screen, sorry. The applicant is providing ample trees, vegetation, and screening where appropriate. That includes the trees on the east, which is on top of the image of the screen. There are also sufficient street trees provided along Green Hill and Cedar Heights Drive. The MU district requires a design review to evaluate the proportion, roof, shape, pitch, and direction, pattern, materials and texture, color, and architectural features. Here we'll take a quick look at what the applicant is proposing, as they provided several nice renderings to get an idea of what this development will look like. Up on the screen is the typical 39-unit apartment building they're proposing. The perspective drawing on top is what will face the inside of the development. The elevation drawing on the bottom is what will present to Cedar Heights and Green Hill. The applicant's use of stone veneer on the first story is consistent with multifamily buildings nearby. The bulk of the proposed facades are made up of windows, vinyl siding, and stone veneer. The proposed buildings have generous window coverage and prominent entrance features. The variation in the colors and the articulation of the building walls break up the horizontal scale of the buildings and provide visual interest. Balconies and patios also provide private open space for each unit. Here's a view from the side of the apartment building with the materials called out. Here you'll see the labels for asphalt shingles on the roof, various applications of vinyl siding, some appropriate trim work, and the featuring of stone veneer. Here's a view of garages and the clubhouse with similar material callouts. Here are some perspective drawings that show the clubhouse and amenities, and also a view of the clubhouse from the driveway entrance off of Cedar Heights Drive in the distance. Here we'll take a quick look at the proposed signage. They're proposing monument signs which meet the basic requirements for height and dimensions. These will be re-reviewed when the sign permits are pulled. The applicant intends to have 2 monument signs, one at Cedar Heights, at the Cedar Heights entrance, and the other at the Sager Avenue entrance. With that, there are technically 2 recommendations here. Staff recommends that the commission discuss the proposed rezoning and set a public hearing for December 18th to consider approval of this case. Rezone from R2 to MU. Staff also recommends that the commission discuss the proposed site plan, which is also the MU master plan, and gather public comments, continue the discussion to December 18th. Just a quick note, this site plan cannot be approved prior to approval of the associated rezoning under this case. So I should mention that the applicant is present to provide some comments and answer any questions you may have. I'm also available for questions.
Okay, thank you. Does the commission have any questions for staff yet? Is the petitioner here like to speak to this item? Name and address, I guess.
Steve Keepers. I'm with Keepers Construction and Prairie Lakes Management, who's the official applicant. 17018 Commercial Park Road, Brainerd, Minnesota. It's exactly 310 miles to here today. It's 195 units. You guys saw it. Real fast about us. We're a family construction company. Got into developing apartments about 3 decades ago. And it's what we do. Cedar Falls got recommended to me by a good friend of mine who's down here doing business as well. He does commercial stuff. We did a couple of side-by-side projects up in Minnesota, and he told me I had to come down here. So one day I was out traveling, and I came through about a year ago and started looking for sites and found this site right about the time Matt put it on for listing, and we started working on it. We started talking to city staff, I think last July, June, and so now here we are today. Questions, comments that you guys have for me?
I was going to say, I don't.
Well, appreciate the opportunity to
Okay.
work with everybody, so we're excited about the project. Thanks.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Any comments, discussion?
Public comment.
Oh, yeah, you're right, I'm sorry. Is there any public comment on this subject tonight? Okay, all right, back to commission, if there's any discussion on this. I mean, in general, I think the presentation is very nice. I like the layout of the complex where it kind of hides the parking lot and everything in the center of it. And so from outside, looking from the road in, you see the building and not parking lot. So I do like that, so.
It has some real nice amenities too for
Yeah.
the people who would live there.
No more discussion, direction?
Do you- Anything else you'd like to see for the next meeting? Any other information?
I mean, maybe. I'm just thinking about where that comes out on Cedar Heights in terms of how far that is from that roundabout and what the traffic might look like in that area.
Right, maybe Chris can answer that question right now, because there was a traffic study.
And I was
done.
trying to zoom in, and
Yeah.
we don't have internet, so I'm like, if
Yeah.
you wouldn't mind, that would be great.
Yeah, there's at least from that Cedar Heights end of things, there's not a lot of concern in terms of the traffic study. There is some work that's going to be required actually off of the Sager Avenue entrance where it comes out onto Green Hill. Just some geometric layout to make sure that the right turning lanes and that kind of thing are delineated, and just that it's able to handle this level of density. But engineering has worked that out with the developer, and it'll be part of the development agreement on this.
I believe the entrance is about, 450 feet
Yeah, it's a
from
ways
the
down,
roundabout?
yeah.
So I think the engineering staff looked at that and
Yeah.
feel like that's plenty adequate to handle the traffic there at the roundabout.
Great,
Should
thank
move
you.
the traffic pretty well. It's the Sager entrance that needed a little bit of work, according to the traffic study, and those details will be worked out in the development agreement, and that'll be put together before council.
Great.
And what is the density, the proposed density for this development?
Was it 190 units?
But the density per acre, or the unit per acre?
It's 14 units per acre.
Okay.
14 point something.
Any more questions? Comments? All right, well, we are looking to set a public hearing for December 18th for the rezoning, and of course, then the site plan would follow along to the 18th. So with no further discussion, I would move to set a public hearing for the 18th.
I would second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Well, that will move to December 18th meeting. And that ends new business for tonight. Is there any commission updates for tonight?
I don't have any updates for you tonight.
Okay, well, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, we are adjourned. Everyone have a great night. Thank you.